Hello everyone and welcome back. Our lesson today is 2A Grammar. Today we have one objective. Describe past events using past simple forms. Now, could you please open the student book and turn to page 23 and open the workbook and turn to page 24 and 25. Past simple. Read the dialogue. How do we form the affirmative of the past simple? Which verb do we use to form questions? Which verb do we use in the negative? Now, let's read the dialogue, then answer the questions. A. My brother graduated from university last year. B. Really? What did he study? A. Well, he was really good at art. But he did not study art. He studied maths. B. Oh, nice. Now, let's check the forms we have within this dialogue. Let's start with the first sentence. My brother graduated from university. Who can tell me what is the form of the sentence here? That's correct. It is in the affirmative form, and the verb is a regular verb. Now, how about the second line? What did he study? What is the form here? That's correct. It's a question. How about the third line? He was really good at art. That's correct. It is in an affirmative form. But the verb here, it is an irregular verb. How about the second part of the sentence? But he did not study. That's correct. It's in the negative form. And the verb here, it's a regular verb. How about the last one? He studied maths. What is the form here? That's correct. It's also in the affirmative form. Now we can notice that we have two types of verbs. We have regular verb, for example, graduated, and also we have irregular verbs, for example, was. Let's go into more details. Let's start with the past simple of regular verbs. Of course, as a note, we treat all persons the same. And by all persons, I mean I, he, she, it, we, you, and they. Now we have three forms: affirmative, negative, and questions. Let's start with the affirmative. Now, to form the affirmative form of the past simple of regular verbs, we just add ed to the base form of the verb. While in the negative, we add didn't after the subject, then followed by the base form of the verb. While in questions, we add did at the beginning, followed by the subject, then the base form of the verb, and don't forget to add the question mark at the end. Now, let's have some examples how to make the past simple of regular verbs. We have four verbs in the list. Let's start with walk. What is the past simple form? That's correct. It is walked. How about live? That's correct. The past simple is lived. How about visit? That's correct. The past simple form is visited. How about carry? That's correct. The past simple form is carried. Now let's move to the past simple of irregular verbs. Again, we have three forms: affirmative, negative, and questions. Let's start with the affirmative. We add the past simple of irregular verbs after the subject. And to make the past simple, we have a special list at the end of the student book on page 72. Refer to that page, study the irregular verbs to make the past simple form in the affirmative. Now let's move to the negative form. We add didn't after the subject followed by the base form of the verb. Also in the questions, we add did at the beginning followed by the subject, then the base form of the verb. And don't forget to add the question mark at the end. Now, we have some examples. We have the base form. Let's try to find out the past simple form. You can refer to the list at the end of the book. Let's start with the verb take. What is the past form? That's correct. So the past simple form is took. How about the verb eat? That's correct. The past simple is ate. How about the verb come? That's correct. The past simple form is came. How about the verb put? That's perfect. The past simple form of put is the same. It is put. You can refer to the grammar reference in the student book, page 67, for the spelling cases of regular verbs. Let's move to exercise B. Find regular and irregular verbs in the block to complete the tables below. Of course, we mean by the block the activity number 2, read. Now, let's start with the first table, regular verbs. Where can we find the verb happen in the block? That's correct. It happened. So the past simple is happened. How about the verb start? That's correct. It's at the bottom. So the past is started. How about want? That's correct. I wanted. So the past simple form is wanted. How about the verb try? That's correct. I tried it. So the past simple form is tried. How about the verb decide? That's correct. The past simple form is decided. Now let's move to the irregular verbs table. Who can find the past simple form of verb be? That's correct. Be can be is are. I was 6 years old. So the past simple form of be is was. How about the verb lose? That's correct. I lost my first tooth. So the past simple form is lost. How about bite? That's correct. I bit my chicken sandwich. So the past simple form is bit. How about the verb think? That's correct. I thought. So the past simple form is thought. How about the verb see? That's correct. I saw the tooth. So the past simple form is saw. Let's move to the verb tell. That's correct. When I told my classmates. So the past simple form is told. How about the verb get? That's correct. I got my skateboard last year. So the past simple form is got. How about the verb have? That's perfect. All my friends had skateboards. So the past form is had. How about the last verb, fall? That's correct. I fell a few times. So the past simple form is I fell. Move to exercise C. Complete with the past simple of verbs in brackets. You can pause the video, complete the task, then come back to check your answers. Welcome back. Let's start with number 1. We have 2 parts. Let's start with the first one. Who can tell me the correct answer? That's perfect. Salih didn't buy. This is a negative form. We add didn't after the subject followed by the base form of the verb. How about the second part? That's correct. He bought. So this is an affirmative form. We used the past simple form, and this is an irregular verb. That's correct. That's perfect. Let's move to number 2. A. What is the correct answer? That's perfect. Where were you yesterday? We use the verb where because you takes the verb where or are. Are in the present, where in the past. Now, let's move to B. What is the correct answer? Of course, also we have 2 parts. Let's start with the first one. That's correct. I watched. I watched. This is an affirmative form of regular verb. We added ed. That's perfect. How about the second part? That's perfect. It was fantastic. The subject is it, and the verb should be was. That's perfect, guys. Let's move to number 3. What is the correct answer for the first blank? That's correct. Was. My sister was 8. This is an affirmative case, and my sister is a third person singular. Now, the next one. She. That's correct. She decided. This is also an affirmative case, and the verb decide is a regular verb. We add ed, but because the verb ends with e, so we just add d. How about the next one? That's perfect. She chose a parrot. This is an affirmative case. Choose is an irregular verb, and the past simple form is chose. How about the last one? That's correct. Called. It is a regular verb. In affirmative case, we add ed. Let's move to number 4. What do you notice about the sentence? That's perfect. It's not a sentence, it's a question. It ends with a question mark. So, what is the correct answer? That's perfect. Did the kids enjoy? Because in questions, we add did at the beginning, followed by the subject, then the base form of the verb. How about the B part? What is the correct answer? That's perfect. Yes, they had lots of fun. It's an affirmative form, and the verb have is irregular, and the past simple form is had. How about take? That's perfect. Took. Also, it's an affirmative case. The verb is irregular, and the correct answer is took. Well done, everyone. You can practice more by completing exercise D in the workbook, page 25. Correct the sentences as in the example. First, you need to write the sentences in the negative and then write new sentences using the words between brackets. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching. See you next time.